Hey guys, welcome back. Imagine you wake up one fine morning and there is a WhatsApp message waiting for you. You open it and you read it, and it goes like, "Aaj teri lynching ki jayegi. You will be lynched today." That's how this book, The Free Voice by Ravish Kumar, begins with. He tells us a story about a young man named Tabrez Ansari from Jharkhand who was lynched, and he was also denied the medical care that he deserved. And then he interestingly adds that he was being battered and he was told to chant Jai Shri Ram. He did, but it still did not save him. So he's trying to show us like how polarized we are as a society today. And then he says communalism is being legitimized as patriotism. So he clearly says that we are living in a very politically polarized and radicalized society today. And then he shows us the difference between good and meaningless journalism. So he gives a few examples about some leading TV news channels. Then he goes on to say that these journalists are no longer answerable to anyone except the ruling establishment. And these news channels have worked tirelessly to kill India's democratic ideals. And then he says that these channels train their viewers to watch only a particular kind of TV where nothing is demanded of them except a willing and complete suspension of belief. So he says that we are watching it day in and day out, but it still doesn't bother anyone. Then he says that the people of India have chosen to look the other way. Look the other way as in he's saying that we are seeing how journalists are completely surrendered in front of the ruling establishment, and still the people of this country are quite okay with it. That's what he's saying. You couldn't expect anything from the election commission or any other constitutional institutions who are supposed to be autonomous on their own, and they were supposed to be neutral. That's what he's saying. And he's saying that history has been easily changed these days. At least it's being tried to be changed. And the press as an instrument of official propaganda is now a plain fact of our democratic systems. News is suppressed, manipulated, manufactured with impunity. So there is absolutely no fear of any repercussion or consequence that anyone will face if they spread any misinformation or so. And the thing that he says that the degree of faith that we have in our political authority, it's something that is unbelievable. And he says that it's not even quite a good thing for a democracy. Audience and readers too have put us there. Channels and newspapers that sing hosannas in praise of the government day after day have the highest ratings and subscriptions. So he says that it's all about catching the eyeballs and getting all the TRPs and everything, but they have entirely forgotten the dharma, as he says, of journalism. Then he goes on to say that 91% of colleges are rated average or below average. So he is talking about the education system of India here. A great deal of hard work must have gone into finishing all of the curiosity, any hunger for knowledge and information, and quite rightly. So he says that the project of their enfeeblement and enslavement is complete. So when you are being deprived of any sort of quality education, you will be enslaved. That's what he's saying. Quite true. So he's saying that there are many colleges that don't really exist, but still the future of the students are being thrown into dark because of all this facade that's going on. These young men and women will never be part of the glorious national history that they have been employed to construct with lies, hate, abuse, and character assassination. Democracies are created and sustained by idealists who seek to understand their world, who demand information and question the status quo. So it's saying we are just being spoon-fed, and the hunger for curiosity and knowledge, that is being killed in a way. That's what he's saying, like how the education system is not encouraging us to do that. So anything that is fresh in thinking, that is not being encouraged at all. They were first burdened with great ignorance, and now they have been blinded by communalism. We speak of economic and social inequality, but we must also know and recognize the inequality of knowledge that is there in our country. Quite a good point, actually. So he says that an overwhelming majority of our young people only understand the language of PowerPoint and 140 character tweets. Their powers of comprehension haven't been allowed to develop beyond that. So he's definitely referring to the IT cell, which is allegedly the Twitter gang, as they say, which is unleashed on the political opponents and anyone who dissents against the government. And as he very famously says, that it's the WhatsApp university that has become so popular in India rather than any other university, real university. The scholars and intellectuals of our big cities rarely spoke to the immense injustice that had been done, and it had already been marginalized. Like the few scholars who were speaking, they are now a marginal number only, and they also feel a little less disempowered because of the popularity of WhatsApp University. Lies and misleading information designed to prejudice them and incite them to violence began to reach their smartphones as personal messages, because everyone has a smartphone today. So it has been in fact easier to circulate any sort of misleading information to the larger mass of this country, especially he is saying that the youth of this country. It was the home delivery of knowledge, as he says. The young recipient of such information finally began to feel empowered in a way. He hadn't found truth to feel proud about, so he began to take pride in falsehood. It's like filling up a vacuum because there was no truth anywhere. So he or she tried to take pride in falsehood, whatever was being served to him or her. You need knowledge in order to become citizens in the fullest sense and speak truth to power. When every effort to know the truth is thwarted by withholding information or spreading lies, no regular practice of speaking out is slowly lost. Then he says that parents tell their children not to speak or write too much. Teachers advise their students to study and not indulge in politics. All of society has come together to make India's great democracy diffident and apprehensive. We'll finish it here today, and let's see whatever we get to learn tomorrow from this book, The Free Voice by Ravish Kumar. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.